For most of my life, I've struggled with fitness. In the first picture you see in that thumbnail, I was 12 years old. My sister and I went to go get a picture taken for Christmas for my parents as a gift. And she was 13 years older than me. And she still is. And we were both born on the same day, fun fact. And the guy actually asked if she was my mom at the time. And we actually got that sometimes because of the age difference. But I just remember that day, like how beautiful she looked compared to me and how bad I looked. I just remember being like so unconfident as a kid. I had that haircut, I had braces, and I was like 20 to 30 pounds overweight. And I don't want to blame it on anyone except me, but I definitely felt like I was a little bit of a product of my environment with this. When we would go out to eat, I was actually like encouraged to overeat. I remember going out to eat barbecue, and like at the end of the meal, I would stick out my belly, and my dad and I would compare our bellies, and it was like I was becoming a man because I had a belly now. And my mom would pack me this lunchbox every day for school, and it was like a big Coleman cooler. And like it would be so full with snacks that like sometimes other kids would see my lunchbox and just be like, their eyes would get so big at how many snacks I'd have. I'd have like Snackwell's Devil's Food Cake. I'd have like Little Debbie's in there, like, and I don't want to say anything wrong with my parents on that. Like it was me who was eating the food. My mom would pick me up from school around like 5 every day, 5:30. So she wanted me to have enough food. But my eating habits as a kid were just so bad. I didn't really have any discipline at that time. And my goal of my parents, I felt like, was just to provide for me. And like, I don't think development was really on their radar. That's the only thing I could say that I wish I would have had more of growing up. But my journey is my journey. And I don't want this to be a blame on anyone else because I take responsibility for my own life. And now my journey is my journey. And like, here I am. Okay. Now, I struggled with fitness for, most of my life. Like that was 26 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that we took that picture. And throughout most of my childhood, like I said, I was just so unconfident. And it really kind of hit a breaking point for me. I remember being in bed and I was like in my room, and we had like a house where my room was in the very back, and I could hear my parents and my sister arguing out front. And they were arguing because my sister wanted me to lose weight. She wanted the best for me. And I guess my mom didn't want to believe it or something like that I was fat, but it was pretty obvious. And I remember my sister getting frustrated with my parents, and she said this, but again, like, I don't want to make this anything against her because it was such a good moment for me in a tough way, because she was like, "Mom, he's a fat boy." And I just remembered hearing that, and it like hurt me to hear, but I knew it was fucking true. Like, it was like one of those moments where you get a reality check and you're just like, damn, like, she's absolutely right. And I think sometimes in life we fucking need that. We need that reality check. We need to get our feelings hurt so we can grow. And like, that's what happened to me right there in that moment. Now, I wanted to lose weight, but I had no fucking idea how to do it. It was really tough to get information at that point. There was really like not even internet. I mean, basically just invented. So like you don't even know where to look if you want to lose weight to figure this stuff out. It took me even like 3 more years to even take action at that point. I remember being like 15, 16, and I wanted to lose that weight, but I had no idea how. And my mom was in this thing called Shackley, which is basically like an Amway. And she was trying to make money doing that. There weren't a lot of opportunities in Mississippi to make money. And I remember I went in the pantry and I found this stuff that she had bought. It was like a meal replacement shake. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try just to not eat breakfast and take this for lunch with like some milk. And I would put like my little chocolate powder in there that it was like a chocolate meal replacement shake with some milk, and put it in a thermos and then take that to school. And I would skip breakfast because before, my breakfasts were like, sugar cereal with milk, maybe even orange juice or something like that. And it was just like obviously terrible for me. And some days I'd be hungry, but what had happened at that point was that I reached this point where I wanted to lose weight more than I wanted to eat. And the pain of staying the same was greater than the pain of change. And I just stayed focused and motivated. And like, that's all I was doing. I was just drinking my shake and like not eating till lunchtime. And then I had my shake and then I go play baseball, I think, in the afternoons. I knew I had some kind of sport that I was playing because I want to say it was like the second half of the school year, and that's baseball season. So I started losing weight slowly but surely. And I remember like my gut, when I would look at it, it went from being like sticking out to like sticking out a little bit less. Then it was basically almost gone. And I was so happy that I had achieved that goal. It took like 2 to 3 months, and I think I lost somewhere around 20 to 25 pounds, maybe less, but it just felt like I was fat like before. Like I would just sit on the bed and just like touch and look at like my fat rolls on my stomach and just be like, I wish this would go away. And that was the first moment that I ever felt like I felt good about how I looked for, that I could even remember in my entire life. Because the only time I'd ever not been fat before then was when I was like less than 10 years old or something. And so basically I had this moment where I was happy with how I looked for the first time in my entire life. And this completely changed how I carried myself. It completely changed my confidence. For the first time in my life, I was confident enough to go try to talk to girls. And I started having some success in that area. And it completely changed the rest of my high school life. I actually probably got too confident, like, but you're 18 and you're an idiot. Like that's how I was. It's like, and that lasted for a few more years after that. But it's basically like I probably got too confident, but the fact is that I basically changed who I was completely because of me losing weight. From then on, I was, 18 years old from the time I was 16 to 36 years old. I wasn't really fat, but I just really didn't like the way I looked. And I knew that I wanted to lose weight, but it was like I wasn't fat. So like I always ask people, I'm like, what should I do? Should I bulk or should I cut? I don't know what to do. I want to like get more defined, like, but I didn't know if I should build muscle to get to that point or if I should lose fat. And I kept getting conflicting advice. I never knew what to do. And I would try these fitness plans or like try to go lift and stuff like that. And I would be consistent for maybe a week and a half, but then the weekend would come and I would always go party on the weekends and like destroy all my progress. Like you go out for drinks on a Saturday, you have like 5, 6, 7 drinks, and then you eat whatever you want. Then the Sunday you're hungover, you probably drink a little bit more to like hair of the dog. And then you spend the whole next week like trying to even recover. Like maybe you're not hungover, but you still kind of feel like shit. And you're just like, man, like I don't even feel like working out. And it takes you like a whole nother week to get back to that point where you just even feel like doing anything or getting back on a consistent level. Then you start working out again, and then you maybe make it a week, maybe in 2 weeks, and then go party again and throw it all away. And I wondered why I could never make progress. But finally, in 2020, I read this book, and it changed the way I think about life completely. It's called The Compound Effect. I don't know if you've ever read it, but this book has changed my life so much, and it showed me that progress is not something that you wait on till you're ready to go like give 100% to and give everything you have and then just get progress in a short amount of time. It's made up of these incremental steps that take months and years that you don't even really see progress. And then all of a sudden you look back and you completely are blown away at how much progress you've made. And this works, in both directions. So in 2020, I had a super successful year with finance and stuff. And then in 2022, I was like, all right, I really have to fucking get fit. Like, I want to figure this out. And I decided I was just going to do something small. And I was subconsciously applying the compound effect without even realizing it. And what I did was just a simple 10-minute morning routine. I would do 5 different body weight exercises, and I would do 2 sets of each as many times as I could. And these are things like push-ups, mountain climbers, leg raises, squats with no weight, planks, just things like that. And I was consistent doing this every single morning or sometime during the day. And the funny thing is, just by me doing this small workout consistently, I actually started seeing more progress than when I was trying to go to the gym 3 times a week and doing hard workouts, but then falling off and being inconsistent. Like, just doing these simple workouts and doing them consistently was creating progress for me. And I might not have even seen that progress if I had not taken progress pictures. So I would take a picture of myself every month or so. And I would just be like, okay, like I really see the difference. Like I didn't really see the differences day to day. But when I look back over a month, then 2 months, then beyond, like I'm really starting to see my body change. And I started becoming a little bit less skinny fat. And I kept on this program for, 6 months, maybe a year. And I started seeing these changes in my body, but I still could not break through that level. Like I had this goal for 20 years that I wanted a six pack. And I'd remembered wanting that since I was in high school, but I just never knew how to get it. I never knew, like I said, which way, if I should build muscle or lose fat. And I had tried all these things after that. Like after I did the 10-minute workout, I was like, I got to try something else because this isn't like getting me to that level anymore. And I tried lifting, I tried running, but every time I lift, I would and try to bulk, I would basically just gain weight. And then running wasn't doing enough because I'd maybe run once or twice a week, like 5K. And so I was lifting with my neighbor one day. His name's Brady, badass dude, and he has a home gym in his garage, and we were lifting, and he told me something, and it completely changed my life forever. And it was just like a throwaway comment. And he said, "I'm gonna go get a DEXA scan this week," and I just was literally like, dude, I fucking forgot that those existed. Like that was locked away in my brain somewhere. I remember when I was in college, and I think it was from a book called Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle that I had read and had helped me a good bit. But it was talking about getting these full body scans, and it shows you your exact body fat percentage. And I had remembered hearing about that, always wanting to do it, but like just never did it or never knew how to do it. Never tried. The funny thing was I had worked at gyms growing up or after college. I was a trainer for a little bit. I mean, that's a stretch, but I trained a few people. Yeah, I guess you could say that. I was certified trainer and everything, but anyway, that was a short time. And even when I was working at the gyms in college, before I was a trainer, I did these body fat caliper tests, and people would test me that were certified, and they told me one time I was 8% body fat. And I just remember thinking like, this cannot be true. There's no way that I'm 8% body fat. And then I took another one at LA Fitness where it was just like you hold this little thing and it tells you how much body fat you have. And it said 12.5%, I think. And I was like, there's no fucking way, man. I'm looking at these pictures online of all these people with 12% body fat, 15%, and they just look so much better than I did. And I'm like, okay, like what's the deal? Like there's something off here. So whenever he said the DEXA scan thing, I was like, dude, I want to do that too. So we both went and got DEXA scans the next week. And when I got that DEXA scan, it told me something that changed my life. It told me that I was at 16.3% body fat. And that's not bad. That's pretty low compared to average. But it actually gave me so much clarity. It gave me complete clarity because I was like, dude, all I have to do is drop my body fat percentage. This whole time I've been wondering what I need to do to get a six pack. And I know that to get a six pack, I need to be as close to 12% as possible. Okay. And the fact that I'm at 16, it's just math. So let's get this body fat percentage down. And then from there, I was like, all right, let me set up a plan. All right, let me try to start waking up at 5 a.m. every day. I'm going to do some HIIT workouts on Monday, Friday, and then I'm going to lift on Tuesday through Thursday. And I worked out an average, 20, 30 minutes on the weekdays. I don't even remember if I was working out on the weekends. But I got focused and I stopped drinking altogether for 30 days. I would just drink like a Budweiser Zero if I wanted something. And those actually were pretty helpful if I felt like having a beer. And I counted all my calories. I developed these meal plans and used an app, and just doing that system, like I just blew through the whole thing. Within a few weeks, less than even 30 days, I had that six pack. And I was like, damn, it really was that easy. Just having clarity on what I needed to do was all I really needed. And now fitness has been easy ever since. Like, I'm still trying to push to lower body fat percentages, and that's not always been easy. But every time I've fallen off a little bit in my diet and been like, okay, like I need to like lose weight again, I've been able to get my six pack back sometimes within like 3 days. Sometimes it takes a week or 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. But it's just like, once I knew these principles of exactly what I needed to do, like, it all fucking became easy. And I remembered that once I started tracking calories, I was like, dude, like, I never realized that I wanted to get fit, but I wasn't doing the most basic thing that is required for me to lose weight. And that is to simply have the math of eating less calories than I burn. And once you do that, like, you're going to be losing weight. And I was like, okay, like, that was so obvious. It was right in my front of my face. Like, how did I not see that? And I remembered after college, after I read that Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle, I think it was sometime after that, I was like eating super disciplined meals, and I was counting all my calories like roughly on a piece of notebook paper every day. And I was eating mostly the same meals and knew like almost all the calories I was eating, like, because I'd eat almost the same thing all the time. And that was like the most in shape I'd ever been before that. And I was like, dude, I completely forgot. It's just counting calories. And like, if you're still here listening to this video, I genuinely appreciate you being here. Like, I wanted to share my story because I went from being like a fat boy with hardly any confidence to now like an aesthetic dad with a decent bit of confidence. Now I would say like I have a good balance between 12-year-old me and like 18-year-old me. Fitness will change your life. And I just think fitness has become so overcomplicated in today's world that like I wanted to share my story in case like anybody's out there who's like, man, I've struggled with fitness my whole life and I don't know if I'll ever get the body that I want. That's how I fucking felt for so long. And then once I implemented the system, like, it was done within 30 days. Like 30 days, like less than 30 days. I went back that next month in 30 days to get my DEXA scan. And they were like, yeah, it's, you were 13.6% body fat. And I wanted to be in the 12s and I didn't get there, but the guy was like, I don't think you should lose any more fat because you only have 20 pounds of fat on your body. And if you get less than that, you'll start having negative health consequences. I was like, all right, that's fine. I was like, I got the six pack. If 13.6 is what I need to be at to be there, then I accept that. But I really think you can apply a lot of these principles, if not all of them, depending on how fast you're going to go. And it will work for anyone, I would think. Like, I don't see how it wouldn't work because you're literally doing these specific things that create fat loss for you. And then you're also like tracking calories and like eating specific meals. And like, it just seems like a system that if I had had that, 20 years ago, it would have saved me so much like heartache and trial and error, But like I said, my journey is my journey. And I'm so grateful for all the hurt feelings that I had along the way because it really made it that much more powerful to achieve that goal and to overcome those things. And I don't want to make it out like, hey, I'm perfectly fit now. Like, there's so many people that are so much more fit than me. I see them every day on YouTube and Instagram when I open it. And I'm like, am I even qualified to talk about fitness content? Because like, I feel like these guys are so much more jacked and shredded than I am. But I wanted to make this because I do want to change my life through content. And I think this really could help someone out there. And so I think that's what I'm focusing on, is the fact that I can help someone who's like me and just wants a simple system that they can follow and achieve the results in the body that they've always wanted. So if that's you, check out my description below. I have a link to my course. It's very reasonably priced. It's cheaper than I would say any fitness coaching that's out there. And then if you don't want to buy anything right now, I completely understand that. I do have a free PDF that you can get. And what that will do is give you the top 10 foods you can eat. And if you eat mostly these 10 foods, your body will start to transform. Just stop eating when you get full. That's the key. All right. I love you and I appreciate you watching. I hope you're having a beautiful day. If you want to watch another video, here's another one that YouTube or me is going to recommend for you. I didn't use a strong hook right there, but I hope you can vibe with the fact that we've come all this way now. All right. Have a beautiful day.